Hey friends, happy Wednesday. I hope you guys are doing well. Wanted to come to you guys and mention that I have had the privilege of being featured in a BizNow article about returning to work and people's reluctance to if they're dealing with sort of toxic work cultures within commercial real estate. So check that out. I'll go ahead and link it also in the comments underneath this video. But this got me thinking. I know there's a lot of you who are thinking about returning to work. Maybe your companies are already sort of putting those wheels in motion for people that have been vaccinated and things like that. But for those of you who are looking to move on to a new opportunity and to a new company, maybe because of how your current company handled COVID, the pandemic, the social justice issues that occurred during the pandemic, I wanted to give you a couple, I think, really helpful questions to ask or points in your research of companies and your evaluation process. So the first question is, how has the makeup of this team or this company changed during the last 12 months? So if you say during the last 12 months, obviously that's pandemic time. What you're trying to get at is, has this particular company or team laid off its highest earning folks and replaced them maybe with less expensive, maybe entry level or mid-level folks? You're trying to understand what sort of changes, what sorts of turnover, maybe if it was a reduction in force or a furlough or whatever. You just want to get a sense of how they have navigated this time and how responsible they've been. And two, if they are telling you about a layoff, if they are telling you about a furlough or what have you, pay attention to the way in which they describe it, the words that they use, any emotion that they express, to see if this is something that they actually feel bad about or anything that they're actually taking ownership over. So that's the first question. How's the makeup of this team or company changed in the last 12 months? Second question, how has this talk to me about this company's response to COVID. This helps you to understand what sort of policies they put in place, what it was like, what the experience was like for their team. Helps you to understand how organized they are, maybe how prepared they are. I think it's good to understand a company that you're evaluating and how they handle adversity, right? This is at the heart of, sort of a company's resilience, and those are things you want to know about. So tell me about your company's response to COVID. And a follow-up question to that is, what is your approach or your policy about returning to work? Again, you want them to have some sort of policy or some sort of good response that shows that they're thinking about it, maybe that they're taking their employees' sort of feedback into account. So the third question is, I've seen XYZ online. So let's go back for a second. One of the things that I notice a lot about some of the companies that I hear horror stories about the most is that they do really good jobs of saying the right things on social media. So very frequently you will see in an example of this, a few weeks ago, unfortunately, the terrible incident that happened at the Atlanta day spa. So there are companies that came out with really slick, glossy images, denouncing the violence, hashtag Stop Asian Hate. And those things are great. But what I want to go is a step further. So I've seen XYZ online in response to a certain event or social justice or whatever. Tell me about how the company supports employees internally. And a follow-up, how does the company support the community in response to some of these things that you guys are posting about on social media? I love this question because this gets at the heart of, is their support performative or is it actually integrated into who they are as a company, both internally to the employees and the community within the organization and the community outside of the organization. So just to recap really quickly, 3 questions. How has the makeup of your team or company changed in the last 12 months? 2, tell me about the company's response to COVID and what is the approach or policy surrounding return to work? And 3, a deeper question. I've seen online posts about X, Y, and Z. Can you talk to me about how the company supports folks inside of the organization internally and how they support the greater community outside of the company on these particular issues? So hope this was helpful for you. A little bit of a longer video today. Hope you guys are doing well and hanging in there, and I look forward to talking with you soon.